Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Jac and Daniel with Talk Openly. My apologies for being a little bit late tonight. I was rushing to eat dinner and then realized that my entire dinner was just kale and spinach. I made like a spanakopita type thing. And I was like, oh, good Lord, I've got to floss before I get on Zoom. So that was why I was late.
Thank you. We really appreciate that courtesy.
You're welcome. Yeah. Um, well, tonight we're going to be talking the second half of our show about the concept of idiot compassion and comparing it to actual compassion. Um, and that's not to say that I know what actual compassion really is and how to be that. In fact, I wonder if I'm often in the idiot compassion realm, you know. So we'll get to explore a little bit. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah, same.
Yeah,
Very much the
good.
same.
Well, before we do that, how are you? What's going on in your world?
Well, before we go any further, I just have to
Oh,
say
yeah.
I'm absolutely perfectly delighted because right now in this cup right here,
Yeah.
I have a unique concoction. It is it's this organic chai reishi mushroom oat milk latte that I made. Which
Whoa.
sounds disgusting, actually, to
It
me.
does sound disgusting. But is it great?
Dude, it's amazing. I'm just that's why I had to bring it up because I'm like tickled. It's so good. It's like having like a delicious coffee drink in the evening without it affecting my sleep.
Ooh,
Wow.
wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
for another product placement, I would highly recommend Nixie sparkling water
Heck
black sugar.
yeah.
It's like the best I've had, really. So make a
Mm.
donation, Nixie, and whatever
There you go. There you
the
go.
mushroom powder.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but things are good. Things are good. I am pleased that I continue to examine the intention and scope of my meditation practice, as we were talking about last week, and I continue to see blessings from that. And we had mentioned, I think, that part of that is part of the practice there increases our capacity and or that our as a byproduct of our practice our capacity is increased, and I'm really grateful for that because a special visiting teacher is coming on Saturday. Jhado
Yeah.
Rinpoche is going to be here, and my minuscule involvement in all of that, oh, it's intense.
There's a lot going on, I bet.
It is. So he's our heart lineage teacher, and there are so many. It's a sold out event. The entire Dharma Center, the whole dojo, everything is going to be completely booked up, full.
Wow.
Probably tons of people on Zoom, right?
Nice.
We're expecting a huge turnout, and my role in it, like I said, isn't huge. I'm just sort of working on the registration data, but it took everything I had this week to keep all my responsibilities and do that. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for my practice because I had that capacity to do all of it, right? And I'm
Mhm.
totally pleased with that. And in addition to that, waking up at the butt crack of dawn to go to the gym with my kids. So all those things together, I'm like, yeah, dude, things are working out all right. I'm
Yeah.
tired as all get out right now, but like it's a satisfying sort of tired.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you remind us, the listeners what Jado Rinpoche will be teaching on and if he's giving an empowerment?
He is giving an empowerment. So it's how do you say it? Sitatapatra, the white umbrella empowerment.
Cool.
And so I'm not qualified to speak anything else about that.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
Right. And what is it? He's also offering a teaching before that. And the teaching, let me just tell you real quick. I have
Cool.
here real, let me just grab it.
Yeah, for those listening, it's really a spectacular experience to see him in person and even online too. I'm hoping that some of you are going in person. There's a real his presence is powerful.
I am excited about it because I was not here the previous time that he visited, last time.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm super, super excited about it. So yeah, the teaching is going to be, the public teaching is going to be on the three principal aspects of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom. And so it's going to be like a pretty packed Saturday. Like it's like a whirlwind sort of in and out, right? Like they're going to come in, there's all this kind of setup and stuff, and then there's going to be teaching and empowerment, and then they're gone.
Wow. And
Yeah.
is it just those 3 hours in the afternoon, or is it longer than that?
No, it's well it goes, let's see. From what I gather, it starts at t- 2, I think, is when the teaching is. And then there's like a half-hour break between the teaching, which is like an hour and a half, and then the empowerment. And I don't know how
Yeah.
long the empowerment lasts, but yeah.
Cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah,
Yeah,
good. Good.
yeah. And I'm excited too because I actually up until the time that this event was announced, I had actually never heard of Sitatapatra, right?
Yeah, me
And
neither.
but what one thing that I think is so cool, but like kind of, I don't know, like the part of me that's like kind of curious is because I have this odd inexplicable sort of obsession with the parasols that are part of the offerings in traditional
Mm.
Buddhist practice. And I think I've mentioned it before. There's something about it. I don't know why, but
Mm.
when I make mental offerings, oftentimes it's um, you know tons and tons of amazing, beautiful, psychedelic,
Parasol, yeah.
umbrellas, right, parasols. And so I don't, and I have no, I just, for some reason, I just think it just gets me. I don't know what it is. And so when I see that it's the white umbrella empowerment, I'm like, all right.
Some karmic connection
So
there.
maybe, yeah, there's something
Yeah.
going on. So of course, a white umbrella is quite different from the very colorful ones that I imagine. But yeah, yeah, it's cool. I'm excited. I just think it's going to be a neat experience, and having so many people. There's people traveling from the other side of the country just to be here.
Oh,
Yeah, for one afternoon,
very cool.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. So I'm stoked about that.
Yeah. Good. Yay. Omaha, this is
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good stuff.
I love, one of the things that I love about it, Jack, and I wish you were here for it, is watching the sort of the lines or mandala in action, right? All the different pieces, all the different people with all their different roles, responsibilities, aptitudes, beliefs, opinions,
Yeah,
all of it coming together to make it happen. I was thinking about our teacher and how, he's been really happy, it seems like, with the sort of organizational abilities of the Sangha, right? Like that we've matured enough to be able to do a lot of this without him directly overseeing every last little detail.
for sure.
And so I was just sort of imagining, I was like, so I'm so hopeful that when it all comes together, that he just gets to be there and like beaming and enjoying the experience as much as anybody else, right? And bask
Yeah.
in the experience.
Oh, I love that. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Auspicious
I
times.
know, I know, I know. Anyway, so that's what's going on over here. What about over there?
Cool. Um, Yeah, I've also been checking in with my intention and kind of where I'm at on the path before or where I'd like to kind of aspiring to during my meditation. And there's this kind of like gentleness that I think is coming from that. Like, what you were really sharing last week that struck a chord with me was like, yeah, it's okay to just like want to feel okay today.
Right.
And I'm going to meditate and just feel okay. And then today it was like, oh, I really want to meditate and like feel kind. And I want to like feel, kind towards myself and kind towards others. And so I just like meditated and felt that kind of like warmth and kindness. And it was lovely. And the other day I went on a short walk at this beautiful place. very close to my house. I'm incredibly fortunate living up here in the Pacific Northwest on the Olympic Peninsula. It's like I can go 3 minutes and I'm at this incredible bluff with madrona trees and
Oh,
pines and
oh,
and the ocean's right like it's just incredible. And so I took a little walk along the bluff and then made it to this lagoon where I sat on a tree limb and just meditated there. And it was so it was so wonderful because at the same time, this is a very interesting place. Like there were all these birds, gorgeous birds, but then right behind me was like a highway. And then behind that is the largest armory in the United States, Indian
oh,
Island.
oh, okay.
So this is a very complicated place. And so Indian Island is almost completely military.
Wow.
And so in front of me was this beautiful lagoon, and then behind me was all this concertina wire, above fences.
Oh,
And it was just kind of this incredible juxtaposition and to feel oh, like, yeah, like just kind of there, like what's it like to be here
it's
in
such
this?
a good metaphor for life itself. I love when you described it. I was like, that right there, that's my like aesthetic. That the
Mm,
combination of sort of like industrial and waste and toxic and
yeah,
like nastiness. And
yeah,
then within that, all this and around that, all this beauty and nature and life happening. I
yeah.
remember I used to do a lot of photography and I went to a super fun site here in Sacramento and broke into it to get pictures. And
Whoa.
one of the things that really I remember vividly was how much beauty was,
Mhm.
woven throughout the entire wasteland of the Superfund site, right?
Yeah,
So that experience, like remarkable, right? That's our life. That's what it's
yeah,
like. There's
yeah.
something amazing and beautiful right in front of us, and there's also all kinds of yuckiness right behind us.
Yeah. It's so interesting you mentioned that about like breaking into the super fun site. I think have also had that aesthetic for a while, and it came from my dad actually. So my dad would take my sister and I, we would go on like little jaunts, and sometimes we would go to these like abandoned shopping centers and just like walk around and look at how weird it
Yes.
was. And we also went to this what is now Cal State Channel Islands, this abandoned psychiatric hospital or psychiatric
Whoa.
like
You
but
went
like
there?
in the 70s before all those shut down. We went there and we walked
Whoa.
around. My dad took us when we were like kids.
Dude, I love your dad. I've done that with my kids. I like,
Really?
yeah, we've gone
Sweet.
hunting for abandoned buildings and stuff, and found them, and it's
So cool.
it has this air of danger and mystery and
Yeah,
intrigue and all kinds of stuff, and the same thing that we just talked about, right? Like, whew, it's neat.
it's
That's so
neat.
cool. I didn't know that about your dad.
I know he's a
Aw.
funny guy. Yeah. And it's just such the perfect reminder. These used to be, especially like the shopping centers, like these bustling places like full of life and commerce, and now they're just empty.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
so, how we just can't trust that things are going to stay in the way that maybe they were, right?
No.
Um, really fun.
It works both ways though, because
Yeah.
one of the fantastic things is on the one hand you have this mall, a very anthropocentric sort of thing, right? Very human, and it's falling apart and in disrepair
Mhm.
because whatever times change. And at the same time, you have oftentimes military installations or former military installations which, because of their toxicity and all that, don't allow for human beings. And therefore, the only things that are allowed there are nature and animals
Yeah.
and life. And it's fun to see nature reclaim its space.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Ooh,
Yeah.
fun. Love it. So
Cool.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Nice.
Really
That sounds like
busy.
a lovely meditation experience.
It was great. Yeah, I'll go back there. Um, yeah, and just busy and doing stuff.
Yeah,
Doing
getting ready for your new job, get right.
Oh my God, yeah, there's so much going
How
on.
long until you start there? I know you gave your current job plenty of notice.
Yeah, I start March 23rd. My last day at my current job is March 6th, so I'll have a couple weeks
Okay.
off. Um, and yeah, those couple weeks are filling up already. So,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. You got about a
yeah,
month now.
I know. Yeah, yeah, it's
Cool.
good. That's
Exciting
where I'm at.
times. Yep. Cool beans. Well, what do you think? Shall we? You know what?
I think it's a good idea. Always, if you can practice while distracted, you are well trained. That's what we're trying to do now, is become well trained.
It's
And,
true. Let's see. I'm kind of praying for something that we haven't seen in a while.
okay, let's see.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, this is one of my faves.
Ooh, regard all phenomena as dreams. I remember last time we had this one, we kind of traded off reading this. Would you want to read it again, or
Oh, totally, totally,
yeah?
totally. Yeah, let's do it. I love it. So do you want to read like the little intro part about the two
Sure.
things? You be the gods,
Okay.
and I'll be Subhuti.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
This point has two divisions. So one is cultivating absolute bodhicitta, which has five instructions, and regard all phenomena as dreams belongs to the first division, cultivating absolute bodhicitta. And then the second part, cultivating relative bodhicitta, which has four instructions. Um, so in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra in 8,000 lines, this discussion begins.
Like a magical illusion are these beings, like a dream. For not two different things are magical illusion and beings, are dreams and beings. Any and all objective facts also are like a magical illusion, like a dream. The various classes of saints, from stream winner to Buddhahood, also are like a magical illusion, like a dream.
A fully enlightened Buddha also, you say, is like a magical illusion, is like a dream. Buddhahood also, you say, is like a magical illusion, is like a dream.
Even nirvana, I say, is like a magical illusion, is like a dream. How much more so anything else?
Even nirvana, holy Subhuti, you say, is like an illusion, is like a dream.
If perchance here could be anything even more distinguished, of such too I say is like an illusion, like a dream. For not two different things are illusion and nirvana, are dreams and nirvana.
Hereupon the Venerable Shariputra, the Venerable Purna, son of Maitrayani, the Venerable Mahakoshitila, the Venerable Mahakatayana, the Venerable Mahakashyapa, and the other disciples, together with many thousands of bodhisattvas, said, Who Subhuti are these grasping this perfect wisdom as here explained? Hereupon the Venerable Ananda said to these elders, Bodhisattvas, incapable of falling back, grasp this, or beings, persons reaching sound views, or arhats in whom the outflows are realized as dried up.
No one grasps this perfect wisdom as here explained, for no dharma at all is being indicated, lit up, or communicated. So here too is not even one grasping it.
Whoa. Regard all phenomena as dreams.
Yep, exactly. Regard all phenomena as dreams.
I like that, like the enthusiasm of Subhuti. And
And I love how unequivocal he is
yeah,
and how clear he is in saying, like, yeah, all of it,
all of it.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It
Even those
reminds
things
it,
that
it,
we think, yeah,
it reminds me of uh, basically Lama saying not too long ago something that blew my mind. I think I talked about it on the show where he said, we're making this all up.
yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Right? Which is really hard for a serious practitioner to take, I think. We want to believe that there's something here, there's something real, that this is actually pointing to something that we can, something solid that we can finally depend on.
Right,
But the thing that we can depend on is the lack of solidity.
right. Ooh, we are free falling, but there's no ground.
That's it. You got it. You got it. That's it.
Sweet. I really want to see
Yeah, yeah.
this image because I remember really loving it. Oh, wow.
Who is this? Is Buddha calling on, not who is
Not
it?
calling
What
Earth
is
to
it?
witness.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, and yeah, Buddha calling Earth to witness. I remember listening to a talk. I think it was in preparation for a conversation that we were going to have about Buddhism and the natural world and kind of like living in and being a steward of and protecting the earth. And in in a talk I was listening to, they were describing this scene in the Buddha's awakening and how the earth was one of his witnesses to his awakening. I feel that kind of like heart opening experience with that. Mm.
Mm, powerful imagery.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
That too is not real.
That's true.
I love it. I was actually I was reading through this philosophical argument earlier today about the nature of fields as if, fields, you know, scientifically, right? Um,
Mhm.
and how it appears that on the one hand, fields are fundamental, but on the other hand, everywhere we observe particles, right? And like basically the discussion is like this: what is it? Like, is it fields or is it particles or what is it? And I had this feeling of like I so badly just wanted to be like, well, those things, all of it, the fields, the particles, all of that. Like that's just you, bro.
Yeah.
You just that's just us. We're just making it's helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. There's nothing wrong with it in that sense. Hella cool, right?
Right.
Really neat to think about and advances in science and stuff. Fantastic. But it's still kind of fun to see like this, how there's this desire to get at something that's actually fundamentally real.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
no.
No. And how interesting that it changes upon observation too, like the wave particle phenomenon.
Yep.
So
I
cool.
mean, it's weird the way that, not weird, but it's just funny the way that the universe sort of is like pointing at such a simple, utterly, terribly simple truth. Everything, like it's super simple.
Yeah.
But we just can't accept it.
Yeah. Because we're special little individuals.
I every time I hear the word existence, I always think about the root of that, right? That it means to stand out apart from, right?
Whoa.
And
Hmm.
so exist beings who exist are fundamentally, wrong, right? Like
Hmm.
believing that you stand out and are apart from is just it's a fundamental misconception. It's easy to see how we get there, how we
Yeah.
make those mistakes, right? But what's so terrible is the way that people continue it and propagate and perpetuate it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that the mind is able to do that. It's so cunning.
Our individual minds and collective minds.
Totally. Oh boy, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, this
Yeah.
has already been such a lovely conversation.
Oh, it's been
Really
so.
enjoying myself.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
glad that I flossed because I've been smiling a lot.
It would have been funny though had you not,
It would have been funny. Yeah, for sure. What would you do? Like, what would you have done? Would you have
Well,
on air? Would you tell me? Or would you chat me?
I could in this show, in
Yeah.
this show,
Yeah, like right. Yeah, if it
if
was
if
right
I
there.
if like there it is right there, I see it. It would at first I would notice, right? And then on the other hand, I think I would probably hit you up in chat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to, it would not be very compassionate, very kind of me to say, well, that would be really uncomfortable. I don't want to make Jack feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And so I'm not gonna say anything.
Right. Right. And it wouldn't be compassionate, on the other hand, if you were to say something, but to say it to everybody, right?
Right?
To not chat me, but to say it to everybody.
Hey, everybody, look at Jack's teeth.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would laugh,
Yeah.
but I would probably blush a little bit too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I blush all the time. I'm already red, and then it's terrible
oh
because
my
I'm like,
gosh.
I'm
I know.
already such a red dude. And then like when I blush, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I am a red one as well.
Uh, that's all right. There's some really good red Buddhas out there. So
That's true. Yeah. Amitabha. Wait, yeah,
uh,
not Amitabha.
yeah,
Amityas.
isn't it? Isn't he red?
Am
No,
Amitabha.
white. I thought his light
Amityas
was
for
red.
sure. Um, but yeah, we kind of segued a little bit with that. I knew I saw where you're going with that whole would it be compassionate to let things slide, or would it be compassionate to say it in front of everybody? Um, and turns out there's different types of compassion.
Yeah.
Um, we're going to be exploring a little bit tonight, what idiot compassion might be. And what we were just talking about were maybe some versions of idiot compassion in terms of not being aware of timeliness of sharing something with someone, uh, kindness and helpfulness. Is it, beneficial? All of those things are important. But in addition, it's also important to like to not just think of, well, are they going to still hold me in esteem if I say something,
Mm, right.
Like are they going to be embarrassed and then, be mad at me if I say that they have something in their teeth? That also we want to set aside. So uh yeah, this is such a good conversation for me right now because I'm really trying to break down times, especially in um my relationships, including with clients, but also my personal relationships.
Hmm.
Like where might I be engaging in idiot compassion?
Yeah.
Especially those kind of those specific ones that we just talked about.
Right.
Um, so yeah,
And
it's timely.
it's funny because I hadn't actually thought about it until you brought it up. And then I actually felt the very, very much the same way that I was like, this is timely. I started looking and I started realizing that both in terms of self being compassionate towards myself and also being compassionate towards others. I was like, oh my God, I have so many examples, right?
So many.
Unfortunately, I predominantly have idiot compassion examples. But I do also have some experience with what looks like what I believe is this genuine compassion, right?
Mm,
And it's really interesting to see I was thinking earlier that maybe in a way, we oftentimes talk about the eight worldly concerns, and it seems to me that our desire to help, to be of benefit, and all of that is good, but when it's blended with those concerns, especially concern for our own pleasure or reputation or whatever, then it becomes idiot compassion. And I
acting
like,
with a twist, to use another Lojong slogan.
damn, you're on fire, Jack. Nice.
Yeah.
Dang. That Lojong training is hitting hard. It's getting deep up in there.
Yeah. Yay.
Nice. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, but man, there's so many examples of it, I think, in my own life with myself and with others. And I imagine with that we could talk about that at length, right? One
Mhm.
of the things so I just wanted to tell you that I did actually do a little bit of prep here because I happen to have a whole bunch of digital copies of Chögyam Trungpa's books, his works.
Yeah.
And a long time ago, I put them into this tool that helps you to digest it and whatnot. And
Yeah.
so I pulled out all kinds of cool details from his works and was
Nice.
reflecting on it. And one of the things that stood out to me, he's I like his the way that he phrases this stuff. So on the one hand, he's talking about peace and compassion, which sound gentle and soft. But in the same breath, he's using warrior-like imagery and talking about killing, right? Like and slashing and burning, right? And it's pretty powerful imagery that he uses here.
Yeah.
But it's within this context of describing the difference because ordinary compassion, according to sort of our worldly view, it's a feeling, right? And oftentimes it's a feeling, and it's one that everybody who's ever had any amount of resources, even small, knows, which is there's somebody lower than you, somebody
Mm,
beneath you, and you are going to reach down out of your kindness and help this poor,
right.
unfortunate soul. For whatever reason, it's not even just resources. Maybe you know something that they don't know. You can see something that they can't see, whatever. And that kind of compassion, the feeling of like pity, and kind of looking down, like, oh, I'm better than them, and I can offer them something. That's a form of sticky. He talks about it as being like syrupy, right?
Mm,
That it's not, he said it's sticky, right? And kind of gooey and messy, but that when you compare it, to genuine compassion, which has this intelligence behind it, this discriminating
yeah.
wisdom, that is clean, clear. It's like Manjushri's sword. Boom,
Yeah.
right? Like it just cuts. And so that's
Mm,
where some of the violent imagery comes from. But it is this sort of like it's decisive, clean, clear. And oftentimes, for people who are stuck in their own narrative, it is unpleasant and unwelcome,
yeah,
right?
right.
And that's not
Right.
something we think that if we're being compassionate towards somebody, that they're going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is definitely not the case. That's where it's important for us to kind of examine our motivation, just like we do in meditation, right? What is it that I'm trying to do here and why?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's definitely true that there are times when compassion is that grandmotherly
Oh.
approach that Lama talks about, and of course Tara and Avalokiteshvara. Um, but there's also, yeah, there's wisdom, and I was reminded of that image of like the two wings of a bird, um, compassion and wisdom, and you can't have one without the other in terms of working with people, and having bodhicitta. Wisdom and compassion must be together. Um, and so, yeah, there are going to be times where it is wise to be, that kindness that's very calm and peaceful and helpful. And then there's times where it's going to be firm and fierce and deliberate and upsetting. Uh, and that's the one that gets challenging for me when it's with someone who I'm close with or who I'm fond of. I have no problem using fierce compassion with people who I am mad at, but that's actually not compassion, that's just anger, right?
Right, right.
And so, I think there's ways that I could channel that maybe into actual compassion, but um, I have a really hard time using the more kind of like firm, fierce compassion with people that I'm close to. And I think that's definitely some like form of codependency where it's like, I'm thinking about how they're going to react. And based off of how I think they're going to react, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to feel that from them. I don't, and like it's like a kind of taking on their emotions and taking them on before I even know for sure what
Yeah,
they're going to be, right?
right.
And both of those, both of those are wrong. or
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, it'd be wrong, for example, for me to say Jack would not like to know that Jack has something in their teeth, right? Like, and and that'd be assuming, right? All kinds of things. Like, well,
Yeah.
it would make Jack really uncomfortable, and so maybe it'll be nobody's really looking anyway. It's probably gonna be okay, right? That kind of thing. Where in
Yeah,
fact there's some kind of discriminating wisdom that knows, like, no, like this is something that could be handled in a way that makes it work for everybody.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it's really interesting.
I was thinking I had an experience not too long ago where I was helping a person who was in need, and I didn't know a lot about their story. I just was responding because they needed some help and they asked for it. And so little did I know that part of the help that I was giving them was going to the grocery store with them, right? And so I went grocery shopping and I thought I was like, okay, I knew they didn't have any money or not very much. And so I was like, well, I'll pick up the tab on this one, right? Like,
Hmm.
I got you. It's okay. We're just going to get a few things. Anyway, he ends up getting a bottle of vodka.
Oh, yeah.
And I, I thought he was in recovery, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was this what and there was an idiot compassion that arose in this context where I was like, well, who am I to judge? He's a grown-ass person and it's not it's not my role to be mommying him and whatever. But after it was all done, I felt terrible. And
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
angry, I felt resentment, I felt like I had betrayed myself and my own values and that I had not
Yeah.
helped him, I'd harmed him. So the next time that he said, can we go grocery shopping? I was like, sure, we can go grocery shopping, but if you're gonna have to buy your own groceries. I'll take you,
Yeah.
but you go ahead. Anyway, he ended up buying two bottles of vodka
Yeah.
that time. And I was like, damn, now I still feel bad because even though I didn't buy it for him, I still participated. On the one hand, there was some good. He got food and stuff. But on the other hand, he also ended up going to the emergency room, most likely because of alcohol poisoning, is
Oh,
my
wow.
guess, right? And it was a whole fiasco, a whole mess, all kinds of trouble brewed. So anyway, he gets out of the hospital and he contacts me. Hey, can you help me with groceries? And I'm like, damn it. I want to be helpful, but I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's not helpful to him and it's not good for me. I'm getting angry. I'm getting upset about this and whatever. It was demonstrably idiot compassion on my end. I
Mm,
kept trying to assuage, any fears or concerns. It wasn't like I cared what he thought about me so much. It was more like this trying to protect some kind of image of me being fair and balanced and not muddling with messing in other people's business and
right. Yeah.
whatever that is, and not being like whatever you like a nanny, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was all kinds of images of who Daniel is that I was trying to protect there.
Yeah.
And when he asked me the last time, I sat with it for a minute and I realized what was going on. And I composed a message in which I was able to say, I'm not judging you, but from my side, I can no longer participate in any kind of alcohol related activities with you.
Yeah.
Whether it's me buying it or picking it up or in any way doing anything with you in alcohol because I think it's bad and dangerous and I don't want that for you. And I
Yeah.
can't be involved in that. And it was such a good feeling. His response was, thank you. I really respect your decision.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
It wasn't
Turns
that
out.
hard.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. These are things that feel so tricky when we get into those conversations in our heads,
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and it is. It's like I have the same kind of battle with that particular thing in helping people in that way. Like financially, when I know that they have maybe a substance use issue, my tendency is just like if I've got a few bucks, I am gonna give it to the person. If they're standing outside a grocery store, maybe they are gonna go in and get something to eat. Um, But, ideally, like I tend to give people food, um, if that's an option.
Right.
Um, But yeah, it is like where some of my more kind of like progressive, or what I think to be progressive values of like, bodily autonomy and
That's
whatnot,
right. That's right. Yep.
um, which I really value. I do believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm also a harm reductionist too,
That's right.
like
Yeah.
I've taught harm
Yeah.
reduction, but I don't need to be a cooperating condition
No.
for that. I can respect another person's decision to continue doing that, but I'm not going to facilitate the getting of the thing. Um, yeah, I started doing that with, and my roommates really don't drink
Yeah.
frequently, maybe like a beer every so often. But there was one time that I did agree to pick up a six pack, on my way home, and I just felt bad. Like it was just a
Mhm.
feeling of like, wait a minute, this is like me drinking, like if I'm just picking it up and like like no. And so, I let them know like, hey, I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
It didn't feel right to me. And they were 100% respectful and were like, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Right. We would not want to put you into that position.
Right, right.
Right. Yeah.
Um, So, yeah, it's like turns out a lot of times I think people are more understanding than I think that they're gonna be. Um,
Yeah. You know who's not very understanding when it comes to genuine compassion?
who? You?
We ourselves, when it
Oh
comes to
yeah.
ourselves,
Say
right?
more.
So I remember one time a dear friend of ours, Matthew Cruz, he said, it was a couple of years ago and it hit me really hard. He said, um, renunciation is what compassion looks like from the inside,
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this sort of discussed with samsara and the cyclical patterns and habits and all of that, right? We all get we're all still afflicted, right? And so there's this when we it's easy for us to be kind of soft and gentle on ourselves and allowing
Mm-hmm.
for, right? And you and I, we've talked a lot about this sort of like what we sometimes refer to as like the Shantideva approach, real like rigorous and kind of demanding, or, it feels like high expectations of ourselves, and that's not the right way, right? But the other end, very loose and so forgiving to yourself and allowing you being sort of like, well, you're just human.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Mm-hmm.
like you're a good person. You're not, like it's okay. A little bit of, you can just doom scroll for a couple hours. Everybody does, whatever. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's that like not seeing clearly. So there's this, Trungpa talks a lot about the relationship between compassion and prajna wisdom, right? This
Mm-hmm.
that there you have to have Manjushri's sword. You have to have this discriminating awareness that cuts through the bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this is about dismantling the sort of these egoic structures for ourselves and for other people. And it's sometimes hard. Can I tell you a little story I was thinking about in relation to
Yeah,
this?
please.
So one of my kids struggles a lot with impermanence and change.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot, right? And so much so that everybody else in their life is tired of hearing about suffering all this change and impermanence, right? And they try everything. Oh, but if you do this, and it's not that bad, and maybe something better will come around, and whatever. And none of it soothes her.
Mm-hmm.
It all makes her more agitated. And so people are like trying to talk her down from, being all upset about impermanence, and it just makes it worse,
Yeah.
right? So then I've noticed because when this way back when I first started noticing it, I too was like, oh, honey, it's not that bad. Come on, close one door, a new door opens, whatever, all that BS. And then I one day, like it dawned on me, I was like, oh, I'm I'm actually making this. worse because I'm not being truthful. What she needs is honesty, right?
Yeah.
And honesty is not it's not it's coming from a place of pure love, of not of any kind of like it's not aggressive honesty. And so, I took this other strategy that has been amazing where I said, I was like, well, okay, you're whatever, something, some situation, passed or you're witnessing change. And then I'll say, hey, you and I might not survive this day.
Hmm.
We might get in a car crash and be dead before today's over. I'm definitely going to be dying, not too long from now, maybe a few decades away, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Hmm.
But everything you know, everything you love is going to go away, including this thing that you call yourself. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Your assessment of the situation is correct.
Yeah.
Your response to it, though, is harming you.
Hmm.
Look at it. That could you possibly look at this from a different perspective, right? Acknowledging the truth of the matter, which is what you think is causing you grief, but the truth isn't causing you any grief. It's your perception of it. It's your
Yeah.
reaction to it. And what I find amazing about this, Jack, is that every time that this has happened, um, I can feel the deflation of that energy.
Hmm.
I can feel it just evaporating. And at the end, even though we've been talking about the truth of impermanence, which is not a delightful subject, it is a cure. It's a balm because
Yeah.
it is the truth, and the truth is what will event will make things better, right?
Right. Right. For sure. Well, I've definitely noticed that, and that's, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really, she sounds like a cool kid. She's
Oh
gonna,
yeah, yeah, for
she
sure.
sounds really smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I've noticed that with some of my clients, um, where they just really want to get into the reality, that I'm not going to escape this. I'm not going to escape suffering, you know? Um, and it can be really powerful, to go there. And then I've also noticed my codependency arise with certain people who are avoiding something, um, or like
Mm,
it's really clear that there's some kind of ethical behavior or unethical behavior that they're engaging in, that's causing them problems. And there's the part of me that's like, okay, like maybe, I just need to validate that that's where they're at and that, they need to be doing that for right now because blah, blah, blah. Um, but what I found is that those clients are the ones that I don't close within a decent time. They stay ill, right? Like they
yeah,
stay unwell. And so that's unethical on my part
right.
to not be pointing to that. And of course it's the whole thing about what we were talking about earlier is that there is a way to do it. Like I can't just jump in first session and be like, here's how you're fucking up, right? Uh, like it takes time, it takes trust to be able to get to that timely sharing of the bitter medicine.
Yeah.
Um, but I do notice that it'll come up for me when I'm like, oh crap, this person's not getting well because I'm not like holding up a mirror to this one thing. And
You
it's not
know,
that it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
all me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I have that.
Okay.
That's what I'm there for, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
That
interesting.
I'm glad that you're bringing this the healthcare part of it, given that that's your job aspect of this up, because one of the things that Trungpa sort of uses as an illustration of idiot compassion, he says, imagine that this is not a direct quote, by the way, this is me paraphrasing, but imagine that you have a tumor, right? And it's impacting the quality of your life and it's threatening you, right? And you go to the doctor and you're like, tumor, bad news, man.
Humor.
Like, help me, right? And imagine that the doctor says, whoa, my goodness, to remove the tumor, we're gonna have to like cut through your skin We're gonna have to cut through the muscle. We're gonna have to like it's gonna hurt, and there's risk involved in that. You might actually end up dying as a result of me doing this operation.
Mm.
And because I really don't want to make you uncomfortable, and I don't want you to feel bad,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. But here's a lollipop,
Yeah.
right? Like that's why the cases don't close so fast, right? Because they're sitting there sucking on a lollipop
Right.
rather than getting the
And they've
tumor
got a
removed.
tumor. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's only so long that like harm reduction works before people die, right? Or pe really bad things happen. And so yeah, it's like sometimes the lollipop is what you have to have.
Sometimes
And
you got to have lollipops. It's
then
true because that
yeah,
they don't want you to operate on them just yet.
yeah, not quite ready.
Yeah, they're not ready
But
for it. No,
yeah.
no,
But you
for
gotta cut in. Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah. And so, it is, and it will be uncomfortable at times. And I think one of the things that I took from what I was reading earlier from Trungpa's works about this is that sort of from a bodhisattva's point of view, given that you're actually always on and you can
Mm,
never not, you should always be compassionate in every situation. It means actually that you can be kind of a pain in the ass, right?
yeah.
And so he gives an example. This is like, I think this is like a classic example, but he says, imagine that you go to buy something at the market, and the merchant, you engage in this transaction and you notice that they cheat you out of some money. Okay, look, it's 50 cents or it's like a buck. Like
Mm.
you notice it and you're like, I'll just not a big deal. Maybe it's an oversight, maybe whatever, and you just sort of ignore it. That's idiot compassion
Mm.
because you actually allowed that person you fed into and reified their corruption, their greed, their willingness to steal, right? You let them do that. You not only did you let them, you actually encouraged them to do it because you didn't offer any resistance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is like you could come at it with anger, but that's not compassionate either, right?
Hmm.
So it really is just it's always it's the way Trungpa describes it. It's beautiful and terrible. He says it's like you get real close. You get right up in there and gently, very gently, you stab them. And he says when you do that, this type of destructive action is a form of compassion. And he related it, even though he was using violent imagery, he said, in that moment, it is like making love because
Mm.
you are responding honestly, sincerely, compassionately, and tenderly
Yeah.
in that moment to do what you know promotes health and well-being rather than
Hmm.
allowing the festering of these habitual tendencies. So we have to, like I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't think I'm there yet. Like I'll probably go ahead and let him keep the 50 cents, but it was not lost on me that that attitude towards myself, right, is
Mm.
important as well, right? And of course it's a balancing act, right?
It
But
is, yeah.
not to be too soft and too lenient on oneself.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, that is one of the hard things is that there's no right answer in any situation, and it's going to be really dependent on many different things. But
Yeah.
having the armor of bodhicitta, right? Because like I think that's such a good image for me because it's not about me, you know, approaching this situation and being honest and open and vulnerable to someone's, anger or frustration with the truth. But it's bodhicitta doing that, right? It's my armor of bodhicitta allowing me to, safely and strongly be honest.
Amen. Amen. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, this conversation that we're having, I want to just say that it's directly related to this white umbrella empowerment that's
Interesting.
coming up on Saturday, because the umbrella. the parasol that we're talking about, the white umbrella, it's a shield of enlightened compassion and wisdom that guards beings against spiritual and physical harm, right?
Mm.
Which is really cool. But one thing that Lama pointed out about Sitatapatra is she's a wrathful deity. So you
Yeah.
see the image, she actually looks she looks peaceful. She doesn't look like a wrathful deity. It's gorgeous arms, whatever. When you look close, she's got fangs,
Hell yeah.
right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool. I know we're like almost past time, but
Yeah.
did I ever tell you about my fanged dream? My fanged demon goddess dream?
We're not out of time because we were late getting started. Come on, tell us the dream.
I think this was like a real like a dream about like real fierce compassion. So um I was actually in a medical clinic. I was there, I was sick. And this doctor came in to see me. She at that point she was just a normal human. But she, had me laid down and like kind of like secured me to a chair. And then she left the room. And when she came back, it was like her body had transformed. She was like this kind of like long-limbed, like fang, and like her hair was like this long, like black, like kind of like who's Paladin Lamo. And
Whoa.
like she came up to me and she was I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something like that, like that this is what you need, and like proceeded to like do whatever. And I woke up, and at first I was like really freaked out. I was like, oh my God, this is like the scariest, because she was like it was scary,
Yeah.
right? It was
Yeah.
shocking. But then the fear was only there for a second, and then I reminded myself, Paul Lamo, like compassion. This is fierce compassion. And then I was immediately like, oh my, like I was able to,
Oh.
it was so
Oh.
peaceful after. And I was like, wow, that was
I
cool.
love it. I love it. That actually reminds me of chud practice. So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Inviting it
Interesting
in.
stuff. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
working with some powerful energies.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to learn more about this white umbrella empowerment. I hope that folks listening are able to attend in some way or another. And if you can make a donation, lionsroardharmacenter.org, we'd so appreciate it. And we'll see you